Hi, my name is Leah and welcome to my channel of randomness. I have recently been interested in Vedic astrology. I'm going to give you a little bit of background on that before I get into the meat of what this video is about, which is Blue Ivy Carter's birth chart. To start off with, here's my little disclaimer that some people just love so much. I am very new at this. This is not something I've been doing for a long time, but I'm getting really into it. So when I was in my late teens, early 20s, I was really into astrology, but I did not know that there were different types of astrology at the time, so I was just looking at Western astrology. And Western astrology versus Vedic or sidereal, so Western tropical versus Vedic or sidereal astrology is different because, so you have the zodiac with the 12 signs, and the way that that's positioned when you're talking about someone's birthplace and time to make their birth chart. So the first house, or Aries, is always positioned at Mars because Mars rules the house of Aries, the zodiac sign of Aries. What Western astrology does not do, that sidereal Vedic astrology does do, is it changes Mars. The position of Mars changes. So Mars it moves every 72 years a little bit. So that can completely change somebody's birth chart if you do not move the zodiac with it. So from what I'm understanding, that's the difference between Western and Vedic. And so years ago, I was super into the Western. I read a lot about it, watched a lot of videos, and for a while I got into, like your birth chart transits, your daily transits, looking at those because it can predict, your day-to-day life, your experiences, most likely situations to come up. And what I found was it didn't seem that accurate. It was more so just kind of like I felt like I was wasting my energy reading that every day because I was like, this doesn't seem accurate at all. And so I got out of astrology for a while because I wasn't quite sure how much I believed in it anymore. But then a while back, I heard about sidereal Vedic astrology and I was kind of like, And then recently, I started watching Joni Patry's YouTube videos on Patry, Joni Patry, Joni, on Vedic astrology, and got really interested in it and signed up for her galactic planner. It gives you your personal daily transits based on your own unique birth time, location. And I started paying attention to it. So like for the last few weeks, I've been paying attention to it, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of weirdly accurate. And then I continued watching her videos to learn a little bit about the Vedic astrology. I did my birth chart, and then I did all my kids' birth charts, my husband's birth chart, different people in my family, and started looking at them and watching her videos and kind of like studying a little bit. And I was like, man, there's really something going on here. There is something to this. And I ordered one of her books. I can't remember the name of the book, but it's like her textbook for her course. So I'm going to read that, and I may even end up signing up for her actual Vedic astrology courses, which are not cheap, but if I continue to be into this, I'm going to. And she has been doing it for a long time. She started off with the Western astrology also and did that for like 20 years, and then also had that moment where she realized that Vedic astrology is probably more accurate. If you like the Western astrology, please do not take offense to me saying that. That's cool, and it sounds like it can, have some benefits. So if you're into that, no disrespect to you. This is just my personal journey regarding astrology. So with that, I'm going to shift to a video I watched where Joni Patry was talking about one of the Menendez brothers' birth charts. And she brought up that in her experience, when the sun is conjunct Neptune, that can indicate some really dark secrets with the father. Neptune is a more secretive, dark kind of a planet, according to, this is printouts from her information regarding the different, Vedic astrology aspects. So Neptune, illusions, deception, confusion, denial, drugs, alcohol, fantasies, fog, dreams. And then, these different planets will have positive influences too, but she was saying when conjunct, so the sun in Vedic represents the father, the moon represents the mother. Different planets and placements can represent different people in your life. So the reason why I found it interesting that she mentioned this, typically in her experience, the sun conjunct Neptune indicates problems or secrets with the father, was with my birth chart, the sun is conjunct Neptune. And I looked in all the other birth charts. That's not the case with anyone else except for one other person. And I find that really interesting because my biological father was a terrible human being. He's dead now. He was abusive. He was involved in some criminal stuff is all I'm going to say. Drugs. He was the P word that I'm not supposed to say on YouTube. And I was like, wow, that's interesting, okay? Because thank goodness I looked at all my kids' charts and the mother and the father look pretty good on theirs, so few. Mom's a little bit hot-headed at times, so is dad, but other than that, everything looks pretty good. Nothing looks too corrupt there. So I found that really interesting. The Menendez brother, her saying in her experience, the father being a more malefic type of person, if that's the case. Now, if you have a father who has, and in your birth chart, Neptune or Pluto is conjunct the sun, don't worry. Maybe there's other aspects in the birth chart. Maybe, you know, the houses there's a lot going on that can indicate different things. So don't worry. Or maybe, you know, it's really easy, I found, to accidentally, incorrectly enter some of the information because you have to get the birth location correct, birth time as correct as possible, birth date. All of it has to be correct. You know, one incorrect entry can throw things off quite a bit. But this is, I really am starting to think that there's something to that. Now, if you love Jay-Z and you want to only hear good things about him, click out of this video. So I have some malefic planets in my 11th house, which is the house of technology. It's also the house of friends and coworkers, which I've had some bad experiences there too. But I'm not good with technology. And so some people can do the cutesy little thing where they've got the little the computer image on this side and they're over here and they're pointing at different things. I just have the old school printed out paper of Blue Ivy Carter's birth chart. And I took information based off of the internet. So her birthday, birth location, those were all consistent bits of information, so we can pretty readily trust that. This is a sidereal birth chart printout. And guardian angels keep my technology safe. Last video I tried to do it, something weird happened, so please keep this video safe while I record it because my 11th house has negative placements. And the birth time, there were some inconsistencies with the birth time on the internet, but some sources said 6 p.m., some sources said 9:50 p.m. But the planets that I'm going to be talking about aren't changed that much by the time being off a couple hours, so we can probably trust the information on this birth chart. Now, some people might have a hard time with this. When it comes to the world of public figures, we do need to be open to the possibility that what we've been presented with that person might not be the actual truth of the situation. We know in everyday lives with people, you know, you find out about, wow, that person was doing that, like, whoa, and you had no idea. So we're dealing with serious accusations when it comes to Jay-Z and P. Diddy, and I'm sure that there's plenty of other people in that world. So we need to be taking it seriously. Keep in mind, consider this video entertainment, okay? Because we're talking about astrology. Personally, I'm starting to really believe that this is an actual real science that's been disregarded by Western society. But still, for all intents and purposes, consider this entertainment. Now, Pluto is another planet that's very similar to Neptune. And this is Joni Patry's information that I printed off regarding the different planets and their meanings. And again, they can have positive and negative traits, but generally Neptune and Pluto are malefic planets. So Pluto, explosiveness, power, control, manipulation, underworld, mafia, secrets, obsession, revenge, big money, sex, big government, corruption. Now, those aspects next to her sun, which represents the father. So Pluto and the sun are conjunct, which means that they're very, very close together. With let's see, Mercury's in that house too, but they're closer together in that house than any other planet. So her sun is 23 degrees Sagittarius, and her Pluto is 13.32 degrees Sagittarius. So they're close together. It's 29 degrees is the end of each house. So it's looking, based on this birth chart, that Blue Ivy Carter's father may be involved with some really dark stuff. Now, big money, of all the planets, that's the one that indicates that the most, apart from like Venus and Jupiter, but like combined with secrets, mafia, underworld, corruption. And so it's looking, based on Blue Ivy Carter's birth chart, that there is some really big corruption going on with her father. And how does a rapper become a billionaire? You know, like, it's a strange kind of a world that we're living in. And there are rumors that have been there for a long time that are starting to seem like that there's real truth to them. Be careful with how much you run with certain things, though, because I do think that there's also a lot of murkiness and confusion. But based on Blue Ivy Carter's birth chart and how close her sun is to Pluto, Jay-Z is probably not a trustworthy person, like many of us have thought for a long time. And I hope that whatever has really been going on comes to the surface, and I do think that that's going to happen. So now that my furnace is kicked on and it's making noise in the background, I'm going to close with this video, but I'm going to put a link to the sidereal birth chart calculator that I used and the information that I used. Also, I'm going to put a link to Joni Patry's channel because I think she's fantastic. Also, her galactic planner. One more thing too before I close is, if you do want to do your own birth chart, make sure that you get that information as correct as possible. Your sun and your ascendant, I mean, maybe not this, your sun can change a little bit, but the ascendant will change, you know, based on different times of day. There's other planets, the faster moving planets are going to change. I'm going to continue learning more about this. Maybe I can share more about it with you in the future. Like and subscribe if you like this video, and I appreciate you so much. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and have an amazing day. Bye for now.